me. It's a pleasure for me to talk about cities and the role of cities in the GeoTLDs and in the new TLDs, and hopefully we have a nice discussion on .Sophia, for instance, which might come in the next round. So I start and give some basics about the current round of new TLDs and some issues there. Where do we come from? We have still today, we have a high overweight of the 300 ccTLDs together with IDN ccTLDs compared to the gTLDs. So they are really powerful, the ccTLDs, and the gTLDs are from the numbers outpacing the ccTLDs. That's quite nice how less gTLDs have a number of small domain names, and with this more registrant at the end of the day, and more parties paying for the ICANN budget, especially the 120 million from .com and .net from various sides. So the numbers of TLDs is quite limited. Here I took some nice graphics from Kieran McCarthy from his, I think, infographics he made for the new TLD program. So, but let's go directly into the new TLD update. There was a webinar last night from ICANN with some quite interesting results coming out of this webinar, which I didn't expect it. And we have a new timeline, as always, when something is made public by ICANN. So we have the next dates are the early warnings the governmental representatives or the governments will issue in a few days. Then we will followed by questions to geo top-level domain applicants, so cities and regions which don't have a support letter right now, which are obviously many of them. These are called qualifying questions then. Then we have expecting end of November having a new update somehow on everything which is going there. Another interesting date, short before Christmas, so you might go to Los Angeles and make the draw. Draw means you, for the new TLDs, to have your position in the evaluation and finally in the approval, you need to buy a ticket for $100 US from ICANN. And then you are, let's say, number 15, so you can be very early in the evaluation and in the approval queue, or you have a number, let's say 1,800 or so. And that would mean your TLD could be delayed until 2014, which is a long time from now, so 2 years. Then end of December, surprisingly they said they will publish this in November, but it seems to be now end of December, the similarity results. It means if UBS is similar to UPS, or .sport to .sports as a plural, or let's say legal, lawyer, attorney and law could be in the same contention set, and only one contender of this contention set is normally approved. Then in January, qualifying question for the other applicants will start end of May. The objection period ends. That means that, for instance, legal objections can be filed if you are a trademark owner. And then we will see in March 23 the first publication of the evaluation results of some new TLDs. That's the newest dates we have here. That's the timeline. And how could this work? How could this work with the approval of the new TLD? There's we made a scenario that's not official ICANN graphics here, but we see that we have a huge comments from, and many comments from applicants for IDN top-level domain names, for community-based top-level domain names, and for geographical domain names. That's altogether 242 applications, and they all ask ICANN to prioritize the approval and evaluation of these new top-level domain names. Reason is they think, and many of the applicants think, they are in the public interest. IDNs are mostly in the public interest because we need more IDNs to the internet to get more people with their own native language on the net, but also communities which represent big industry parts and the geographical names. They have all support when they are approved for their own local government, and government is public interest. So there could be, out of these 200 applications, there could be from June to July 200 applications going into the root. And then we have many other applications. That's a big part, the pure generic ones and the brand ones. We have about 600 brand applications, so from Google to ABB to Yahoo and many other companies which applied for their TLD. And we have the generic top-level domain names. And there the big time delaying thing is there could be auctions, there could be private auctions, there could be objections and so on. This prolongs probably the approval of these TLDs, so not many will go through in 2013, I think, a couple. So we might have until May 2014 around 700 applications, and then the rest will come until end of 2014, another 300. So we might end up. I think that's our idea. We'll see 1,400 new TLDs going into the root. We think it's much less, maybe less than 1,000. Because there are many dropouts. We will see the governmental people, the governments coming up with many early warnings. That means top-level domain names like .LLC or .limited or so, they could become issued to an early warning because they are some part of the public infrastructure as a company ending. And there might be also other issues with .sucks and .charity and .sex and all these kind of things. So I expect many dropouts at the end of the day, so that we might even go below 1,000 new top-level domain names. That's my personal view there. So, and if they are approved, we have an explosion of new top-level domain names. Obviously, that's if you compare it to a city like a small city in Germany, Freiburg, where they made some gaming, let's say, some game about the city development, and that could be mean from a small, nice city to a huge industrial city. That's an explosion. What does it mean for icon structure? And Stefan already said there are coming much more contracted parties to icon, all the new top-level domain applicants, and they are all going into the new gTLD area, and the gTLDs will become an overweight from the number of contracted parties or parties which icon has as relations, which that's quite interesting, all the numbers of TLDs. And if you go a little bit deeper into the new top-level domain names, only 3% of all top-level domain names, that means 65 out of 1,900 are geographical names. I personally expected much more geographical names coming up. There had been over 150 initiatives from all over the world, from many cities and regions and cultures, languages and so on, but most of them didn't make it. I don't know why, but I think it's about the high application costs and governmental things coming in this, so you might need to have approval, and if you don't have approval, you don't apply with a certainty to get approved. So, and we have only 4% communities. Communities could be like for sports community or tennis or hotel or others. Music is one of the most prominent ones here. And interestingly, the brands have 33% of the whole applications, and they were all the time before the program starts completely against the new top-level domain names, and then said, okay, if we can't stop this, then we jump all on the train. That's quite interesting. the numbers from the different regions. Interestingly, Europe has 2 tax havens, that's British Virgin Islands and the Cayman Islands, with 72 and 91. They are counted to euro. That's really strange. Europe in the main area has only 85, or 85 is Luxembourg, another tax haven for IP things. So that's remarkable how the regions are shaped within ICANN. And we have 39% of all applications are in contention, so there will be all the dropouts from, most dropouts, 520 altogether, will come from the conflict resolution here in ICANN. So what's the expectation? Well, how many domain names will we see from the new top-level domain names? Will there be millions, or a million, or hundreds of millions, or what will happen in comparison to what is already there? And my expectation is that we see only a few top-level domain names which could hardly make it up to 10 million registrations, like between 5 and 10 million registrations, like .shop or .web. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think this could be the potential. No one will reach .com, I think, but having .net, .org or .de in this region is 10 million. And then we might have 20 with 500,000 registrations. We might have 200 new TLDs with only 50,000 applications. That could work very well. If you have a high value TLD and a high price TLD, you can run a business model with only 50,000 applications or domain names very well, like Cologne here. And we will see many applications. It's not 2,000 but 1,000 or more with only 5,000 domain names or even less. And that's quite interesting how this will work. I think it's all the brands are in this field. The brands we consulted, like Volkswagen and Audi and some other big German brands, they will have only a couple of 100 domain names, even in a 3 years perspective, and they will fall all in this category. So altogether, there might be only 40 million domain names coming to the already existing 140 million domain names in the gTLD space. I said 20 to 40. That's not so much. And many people at the beginning said, and there was reason for many concerns as well from trademark holders, we will see now hundreds of millions of new domain names. That will probably not happen and there's no such threat of cyber squatting and all the trademark infringement things coming with the new TLDs, especially because many are for restricted audiences, like for instance .hotel. It's just you need to be a hotel and it's verified and then you can register. That really limits this to a certain audience. And everybody is counting on Google or not. So that was the question from the very beginning. What is Google doing in the new top-level domain name game? Will they apply for a TLD or will they apply not for a TLD? And what they did is they applied for 101 TLDs, which go from their inner circle. That means there are inner brands like Google, YouTube, and Android. And this goes to they have the spheres or the Google circles, so that inner circle with the brands, and the second circle with the business, and the third circle with consumer-oriented TLDs, and then some fun TLDs like fun and others. So that will be quite interesting how this works out. And one of the biggest competitors is Amazon, which will also have a lot of TLDs, and that could be quite hard because many of these TLDs from Google and Amazon, they will be, or they said they will be for exclusive use of Amazon or Google. So that means .book isn't free for everybody. you need to have your book registered with Google, then you might use .book TLD, but not somewhere else. And especially Amazon is counting on search engine results with all their new top-level domain names. And I think Google will play an important role in this, because if they value new TLDs with other criteria higher than existing ones for the same industry area or the same term, that could be an interesting drive into all the search engine marketing things coming up there. But it's, I think, important that Google applied, because this gives the program, the new TLD program, much more value for the domain industry. And with all the applications coming in there, there's gaming. There's really gaming. There's game theory coming in with players and rules and consequences and payoffs. I have never been in such a gaming scenario, but we are now confronted with this gaming scenario. What would the others do and so on. This is really, really amazing. So that might bring some unwanted or wanted, I don't know, side effects with us. So there could be a monopolization of dozens of generic terms by the same applicant. Let's say everything with publishing is, at the end of the day, with Google. Everything with the book and paper and whatever is there. And another thing is the exclusive use of the generics terms. So what I said, the closed registry model which is there. Governments are already looking into this, and many governments don't find this appealing, that some entities have a very big stake at the end of the day of the whole new TLD program, and that might be reflected in the early warnings which come out. And already the auction gaming started. So there's a Professor Crampton from and he got, I think, was it the Nobel Prize winner for the gaming theory or so? And people are looking now what he's planning with some applicants there. And it's a matter of the auctions for the new TLDs, where, let's say, Amazon, Google, Donuts, top-level domain names, holdings. You can look at the 13.app applications who are the contenders in all the contention sets. That's really amazing. But the similarity results and early warnings and objections will bring even more variables into this gaming structure. That's quite interesting what happens at the moment there. So, and if you compare some of the parties that applied for new TLDs, if they are tops or flops on the stock market, you can see Zedo Holding, that's a 1-year stock market chart. They really dropped from 3 to 1.6 euros. That's amazing, and they are staying there at the moment. And top-level domain name holding, they have around 90 applications they are working for. Is it a good deal if you compare starting 1 year and now it's almost the same, but with some fantasy there in the middle? Then we have Demand Media, which applied for top-level domains. Not too bad. 2 cows. Just a drop after, I think, after they started with the application phase. And we have VeriSign. That's a good deal, except of the rumors that VeriSign might lose the .com contract, or they get a price cap or whatever. Just a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago that happened. So they jumped really to 15 or 20% down on 1 day or 2 days. That's really amazing. And the last one is Newstar. With they have .biz and others, but they, I think, work for over 350 applications, and that could be a business model for them as well to drive the revenues there. So quite interesting. If you want to be invested, it's still time there to buy some stocks. If you don't have a TLD, buy some stocks of one of the players there. But now have a closer look to the 63 GeoTop level domain names. Most of them, interestingly but not surprising for for me is in Europe, because we have a so broad cultural, language, and a country variety, no, something like this. And we have some from China and some from Japan, but surprisingly, I thought we would see San Francisco and Dallas and many more, and Chicago top-level domain names. Nothing happened in the United States, the mother country of this, that might have the reason in the lacking support. So I think the US government didn't support the GeoTop-level domain names. That's different from the European governments. They have been very supportive in this playing field. So US is really interesting what's happening there. And we have only one of South America, .real. That's fun. And we have some intersections. So we have some IDNs, we have some communities, we have some geos. And you could mark all 3 points, tick all 3 boxes. And one application in the middle, that's one for Chinese, I think Guangdong, or Guangdong? Sorry? Guangdong. They had their community, a geographic name, and their IDN. That's quite interesting. And these 3 are the ones many applicants and governments want to have prioritized in the approval and evaluation there. Because where's the public interest in which TLDs? It's certainly in the geographics, because they have government support. It's somehow in IDNs and communities, because governments and large organizations are involved there. Then we have the generics and the brands. Most brands said we are not in the public interest, because we are a brand and we don't want to stick to all the mechanisms which come with the generic ones. So if you're a brand, you can say, I don't want to have my brand top-level domain name anymore. Please, I can stop the whole top-level domain name, and then immediately goes out of the root. It's different with the generics. With the generics, I can have that Ebero program where this TLD is going on, and I can find a new party if one party doesn't want to run the TLD. Why could there be a .city or Sofia? Some obvious things, maybe overcome the ccTLD regulations, if there are any. I think in Bulgaria with .bg, it's not anymore much regulation in there. It could be an added value for search engines. That's very important for all these cities that applied. And focus marketing. You don't need to make marketing worldwide or even nationwide. And some other reasons for cities is city population is growing worldwide, and it will become much more important in the next 20 to 30 years. And we have overweight of, as you saw, with .com and net at the moment, and the GeoTLDs and others could help to counterbalance this globalization which happens from .com, bring it back now to the local region or the local cities there. And we have tight namespaces. I think I learned in Bulgaria it's not so tight, the namespace. Many good domain names should be available compared to other countries with the same size, but one day all good names will have gone as well. So we have already 12,000 domain names containing the word Sofia, like futuresofia.com or hotelsofia.com. And it's always a question, why should you make, if you have a domain name, advertising for .com or net or org? You could have your own ending and make your own advertising without .com. And as I think Amadeo was it who talked about identity. We are going to identities, and we think that city domain names, city top-level domain names offer real identity. So that identity is your nation, like .bg. That's why you love .bg. And your city could be Sofia, and your surname, another identity, could .petrov. or some other names. That's really identity, and people really stick to this identity. There was a study in Germany, and 20% of the people said, after being a resident of Germany, I'm resident of my city. That's my identity. That's interestingly, and Europe was amongst, identity of Europe was really amongst the last ones. Interestingly, we did a study with the German Eco Association from Thomas Rickert. Is he still? Yeah, okay, maybe. With Thomas Rickert together. And we found out from asking over 4,000 domain owners and internet users, where would you like to find the mayor, under which address? And interestingly, 43% said, okay, mayor.berlin would be the perfect address I can remember I would go to. That was very clear. That the address the mayor today has, it's a very long one, a very long URL, and the people can't remember this URL. That's quite interesting what that means for governments, also in the terms of e-government. And cities needs branding vehicles, so that's r.berlin. They already reserved their r.berlin domain name, even they are in economic troubles at the moment, but they reserved that name. And there could be a significant value chain on the new TLDs. So it's not only the registry, but also the registrars, the creative industries, the advertising agencies, and then there come portals and small and medium enterprises register domain names, and the value of such a .Sofia, for instance, for the place branding could be really, really interesting as well. When could a city like Sofia work? If you have a highly regulated ccTLDs, a high price, or a good community sense is very important if the people like the name. And for sure, everything economic, so if your city has an economic strength, is also important. So, some operational models for the geotop level domain names in the new TLDs are the closed shop ones. There are some cities like Zurich, Rio, or Helsinki applied, and it's a closed shop. The TLD is only for the city. No, not for business, not for individuals, people, citizens. So that's a closed shop model. Then we have community model. Madrid and Berlin are doing this. This is only for Berliners or Madritas, or how Madritis, or so. Sorry? Madridistas. Okay, and there are some policies involved and some validations. We have some open ones. They are like .com, that's NYC or London, for instance. And we have a double strategy. Amadeo consulted, and they are doing the backend visit Barcelona and .bcn. One is closed and one is open. That's a quite nice strategy to operate identity for the city. Yeah, Berlin is having a mixed of this a little bit, broad community and some nexus requirements like .de and some policies which will allow anybody to register which has a connection to Berlin. Yeah, and my two slides now. Completely other topic. We are all looking for what is ICANN doing with the hundreds of millions they collected from all the applicants, and which they might also collect from auctions from many applicants. So that's a big question mark. What is ICANN doing with all the money I want to raise here? And last slide is, after this round, it's before the next round. So you should always think of which Bulgarian companies, cities, regions, or whatever could apply for a new top-level domain name in the next rounds. It will certainly, I would say, become much cheaper than today, a third or half of the application cost, and much more consistent processes and better timelines in this sense. Okay, thank you very much.